clues into why Solange attacked Jay-Z. And it might involve Rihanna. Let's talk about it and more. It's time for what?
Gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started with her and signed to the death.
It was the longest 12 hours of my life. Like, I was just waiting downstairs and I was like, get the contract down here. I want to sign, I want to sign, I want to sign. I was so hyped. I didn't sleep for the next 3 days. But I mean, I was just looking at the roof like, oh gosh, is this happening?
Beautiful
When
girl.
I met her that day, I knew she was a star. Like, just her look, the way she walked into a room and her confidence, and she performed in my office.
And she was what, 17 years old at that
She
point?
was 16.
16, and she has the confidence of...
When she performs, and I tell her...
That guardianship ain't stopping nothing when it comes to Wendy's messiness. She is back at it again, and this time she's exposing everything about Rihanna's fallout with Beyonce. Wendy was actually one of the few people who reported on this, especially after Solange pounced on Jay-Z in that elevator back in 2014. However, this time she's spilling some never-before-heard information that will have you questioning everything you thought you knew. Now, just for a little bit of context, Rihanna got thrown into Jay-Z and Beyonce's circle back in 2005 when producer Evan Rogers found her while vacationing in Barbados. At the time, she had already created her own group with 2 classmates, so it's safe to say she was pretty much preparing herself for what was coming. Evan made her record a couple of demos, got her paperwork together, and flew her to the US to audition for a couple of labels. And one of those labels was Def Jam. Jay-Z was the president of Def Jam at the time, and he loved the demos, especially Pon de Replay. So guess what? He called her in for an audition in New York and signed her on the spot. But here's where things get a little shady. He invited her to his office for this audition at 3 a.m. in the morning with no one else in the room. And when she was done, he forced her into signing the contract. According to Rihanna, Jay-Z gave her 2 options that night. Either she signed the contract or he would push her out the window.
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you.
A really good audition.
Yes.
But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Pon de Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sign songs here, we sign artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it homework.
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure working with Jay-Z, you've met Beyonce.
That's right.
How was it like meeting her?
I could not speak.
Really?
Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does it.
I don't know why this story was so amusing to the audience because there's honestly nothing funny about it. In fact, in 2005, when she finally put out Pon de Replay as her first official single, her publicist leaked some tea, accusing Jay-Z of forcing Rihanna into an affair with him. The publicist later backtracked on everything he said, claiming that he made up that rumor to help promote Pon de Replay, but people just weren't buying it then, and they still don't buy it now. Apparently, Beyonce later found out about this affair, and as expected, she was very upset. Not only because Jay-Z was allegedly cheating on her with a 16-year-old girl, but it was also because she genuinely believed in Rihanna and wanted to mentor her. So all the while Rihanna and Jay were messing around, Beyonce was completely in the dark. In fact, Rihanna was buttering up Beyonce because she was the most famous pop star at the time. In fact, a lot of people don't know this, but Beyonce was the main reason Rihanna even got a push from Def Jam after she was signed. You see, at the time, Def Jam had just signed both Rihanna and Tierra, but according to L.A. Reid, who was an executive at Def Jam, he was putting more attention and money behind Tierra. That was until Beyonce told him that Rihanna was the better artist. Looks like all the buttering paid off. I first laid eyes on her in the hallway. I didn't know she was a singer or anything, just a pretty girl standing outside somebody's office. Then Jay-Z burst into my office. At the label, we thought Tierra Marie would be the big star. We spent more time on her, did more work on her, paid more attention to her. A bell went off for me, however, when, after a label showcase, Beyonce came up to me and said, "That Rihanna girl, she's a beast."
I signed Rihanna, and we had a showcase. And at the showcase, there were two artists performing. Her name is Tierra Marie, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is, I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, "That Rihanna girl, she's a beast." And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take, But it wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyonce said that to me. Yeah.
About Rihanna, because people found it super weird. Right before Jay-Z signed Rihanna, he was working heavily with a 16-year-old Tierra Marie who signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. And after a while, there was rumors circulating all over that Tierra Marie and Rihanna actually had a fallout because Rihanna's career skyrocketed and Tierra Marie got let go from Def Jam. And allegedly, Tierra Marie is the Jane Doe that is suing Diddy and L.A. Reid for SA when she was just 16 years old. And I mean, it is pretty weird because Jay-Z just started talking to Beyonce as soon as she turned 18 years old. And not long after Rihanna signed to Jay-Z, there was rumors swirling all over the media that Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with Rihanna. And a lot of people still to this day never understood why Rihanna and Beyonce are not close, and we've never got a collaboration with the two of them, even though Rihanna was claimed one of Jay-Z's biggest stars. Jaguar Wright then went on to allege how Rihanna's last album, Anti, was basically a cry for help. She talked about how creepy it was that Rihanna did the album cover of a child with a crown over her eyes. And it says that the Anti-album is about a person opposed to a particular policy, activity, or an idea.
But it gets worse. According to Wendy, this affair got so serious that Rihanna started having real feelings for Jay. And once Beyonce found out about the affair, all that was over. Because for Jay-Z, that meant losing the power couple status. No wonder she's not worked on a song with Rihanna till this day, even though they're both closely connected to Jay-Z. Also, this reportedly the actual reason Solange went after Jay-Z in that elevator back in 2014. And guess who predicted this before it came out? Wendy Williams. Wendy claims the fight started after Solange caught Jay-Z trying to sneak out without Beyonce to attend Rihanna's after-party. And since Solange already knew about the supposed affair, she clocked immediately that he was going to see Rihanna. This made her really mad.
Is tried to ditch Beyonce and Solange to go to Rihanna's party. And it's being alleged that then Solange said, "Well, why do you have to go to another party without your wife? Why can't you just go home?" If you know what she was implying.
Now, at the time when Wendy revealed all this, people called her messy. But looking back, she didn't seem like she was lying at all. Oh, but it gets even worse. Jaguar Wright also later stepped into the chat. And she didn't just back up everything Wendy said. She also alleged that Rihanna caught an STD from Jay-Z, which she passed on to Chris Brown. Apparently, Chris knew Jay was hooking up with Rihanna, but so far as he was concerned, they had ended things as soon as she and he began dating. So imagine his surprise when he found out that not only did she allegedly infect him, but the infection came from Jay-Z.
How long are you guys gonna hold on to Chris Brown and Rihanna, you know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night. And that's because Jay-Z worked so fucking hard to change the narrative of that night. Now, Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started her and signed to the Def Jam. It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most fully involved with, and that was Sean Carter. So here it is. Chris Brown has his first herpes outbreak from his celebrity girlfriend who he was set up with, and it was supposed to be this and it was supposed to be that, and he was there so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was fucking Jay-Z. Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown.
But Jaguar didn't stop there. She also revealed that this was the real reason Chris put his hands on Rihanna back in 2009. She also alleged that Chris walked in on Rihanna going down on another man when he pulled up to Diddy's industry godfather's house to confront her about the infection.
And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted his house and said, "Where the f is this dirty Jack?" He had this is beautiful. Oh, wonderful. Chris Brown, she done ruined him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes. And Rihanna ain't innocent because she was in there giving that job in the coat closet when Chris Brown came in. He said, "She always in something." And he stormed out of Davis's house. Rihanna chased after him. She gets in the car and started fighting on him because he embarrassed her for calling her a second and saying in front of everybody that she gave him the herpes. They're speeding on the Pacific Coast Highway, and you know Pacific Coast Highway, very steep. She could have killed the both of them, and he hit her back. Calm down. And all of this is happening while he's doing damn near 100 miles per hour.
And in case you're wondering where Jaguar got all this tea from, she claims she was at the party that night and literally saw the whole thing go down.
What about the situation
That's what happened that night, and I know because I was at the party. It was the last Davis kissed the party I ever went to.
But it wasn't just Chris Brown that had a problem with Rihanna and Jay's alleged affair. It turns out Drake was also not having it when he found out, and that's actually part of the reason he and Rihanna didn't work out. Word on the street is, even after her situation with Chris, she was still actively messing with Jay-Z all the way into 2016, when she and Drake were supposed to be dating. In fact, people believe this is why Jay-Z has been working overtime to destroy Drake's career. You see, just a couple of days ago, the professor Michael Eric Dyson revealed that back when Drake and Kendrick were at the peak of their beef, Jay-Z called him up all upset because he had published an article going into details about how police were only siding with Kendrick because they didn't think Drake was black enough to even be in these hip-hop conversations. At the time, people were wondering why Jay-Z would take something like that so personally when it literally has nothing to do with him. But now it's making so much sense.
I'll tell you something. A very dear and good friend of mine disagrees with me bitterly. Well, I won't say bitterly, just aggressively and vigorously. His name is Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. But he hit me up and he vigorously disagreed with my particular position. He said it with dignity. He said it with respect. He articulated his ideal intelligently. I responded to him. We went back and forth for a minute, and I shared with him my essay, the 3,000 some word essay I wrote, where I break down what's going on between Kendrick and Drake. So the point is that I'm saying we can disagree with each other and not be nasty.
And let's not forget how Jay-Z intentionally handpicked Kendrick to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show just to humiliate Drake. This love triangle between Rihanna, Jay-Z, and Beyonce clearly goes way deeper than we thought. And there seems to be a lot more people who have been affected by it. Until everything is confirmed, since all this is alleged, we will just have to wait and see. In the meantime, as usual, people had their thoughts. It's like this person who said, "Girl, apparently Beyonce hates Rihanna because she was one of the women who had an affair with Jay-Z. The other women were Rita Ora and Gwyneth Paltrow, who is supposedly Becky with the good hair." Another person said, "It's the fact that people have known Jay-Z slept with Rihanna and Aaliyah when she was also met Beyonce when she was 13. His first baby mom was under 18 too, and he won't claim his son. Y'all ignore his kinship with Diddy and link to the files. But now, I want to know your thoughts. Do you really think this is why Beyonce reportedly doesn't like Rihanna? And what do you think about Drake and Chris Brown getting into it with Rihanna over allegedly sleeping with Jay-Z? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.